Welcome back to Talk Utah with Holly Love. I'm Trip Mitchell, and we're joined today by Representative Steve Handy from Layton District 16. Steve, welcome to the show, and thanks for being here.
I'm just really happy to be here. This can be fun.
Stephen, thank you so much for coming and talking to us today. I know being a representative is a part-time job, but you don't really view it that way, right?
Well, it's very interesting. In Utah, we have a citizen legislature. We're in session 45 days, but there's always kind of something going on. You know, you're always tracking your emails, your messages, dealing with constituent services, and then there are ongoing committees that you serve on. So it's kind of going all the time.
And what do you do outside of all of that?
I'm a public relations and communications consultant is my profession, and so I've been able to find a pretty good balance. Frankly, you can't be in the legislature very long because you can't afford it.
It is not a high-paying career. No. Steve, you got to love it when certain legislators go to Congress, the federal Congress, poor, and 20 years later they're multimillionaires. That doesn't appear to happen a lot in the state of Utah.
What is the deal here? No, nobody's in it for the money in the state of Utah. I'll just tell you this: legislators make about $15,000 a year. We do get a little bit pay, and we do get some health insurance, which is a nice benefit.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Our legislator is so effective in many ways because of the quality of people that the state of Utah elects. I've had the opportunity to live in Nevada where we haven't done as good a job, and there's a joke that we elect them and indict them in the same day.
Oh gosh.
Why do you think the state of Utah has such a great quality of legislators?
Well, I think I think it's just kind of our culture and our state, and people kind of feel this time in their life that they want to give public service. And I think the fact is that you get in, do your thing, make a little bit of a difference, and then get out. Let someone else do it. These are not lifetime things. I've been in for 4 years. I'm running again, and that'd probably be about it.
Do you believe in term limits?
You know, not in the state because we self-select ourselves, but federally I do.
How long would you think that, for instance, a U.S. Senator, 2 terms, 12 years?
I think a U.S. Senator ought to have 2, maybe 3. A representative ought to be there about 10 years.
I think that would be very smart.
Very smart.
And the challenge is that when you get so entrenched, there's no incentive for a state to get, if you have a senator in there 4 or 5 terms, he can do so much good for your state, he almost has a job for life.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Now this last year you did some pretty interesting things. Some of them didn't get passed, but let's talk a little bit about clean air proposal in regard to school buses. That seemed like just a no-brainer.
Yeah, terrific. It's interesting, we can't around here legislate our geography, and people get very frustrated. And what's interesting is that these bad inversions happen during the time the legislature's in session. So it's very topical. I get emails even from family saying, you must do something about cleaning our air. Well, okay, I'll pass a law. But there are many things we can do. And so we formed a bipartisan caucus, Clean Air Caucus in the House of Representatives that's going to now then move with senators this next year. And we talked about legislate. There were 25 bills that addressed in some respect clean air initiatives. Anyway, I had a bill called the Clean Fuel School Bus and Infrastructure Bill. And what it was doing there in the state of Utah, we have 2,500 school buses. 1,000 of them are run on what they call dirty diesel. So they're 15 years old or older. And not only are they dangerous to our environment and do pollute, but they also, the pollutants for the kids on the buses are dangerous and detrimental.
Yeah.
And there's all these studies. Anyway, so this kind of came out of the Transportation Task Force at the State Office of Education. And the bill was asking for a $20 million appropriation that then the districts would bring a matching to that. So it was really a $40 million clean air initiative. Everyone liked it. It got a ton of publicity, passed the House, passed the Senate committee, then died because it wasn't going to get funded. And it was a priority from Governor Herbert too, but there was some politics. Anyway, I'm going to bring it back.
Okay.
Well, it needs to be brought back because it's a common sense. Yeah. And for those of us who get behind a polluting school bus, it's the worst.
Really bad.
You're turning your air off and it just, that's a no-brainer. You're also involved in something that is very interesting to me, and that's kind of a federal issue having to do with a transportation corridor for high power line that we're not going to get anything out of. Let's talk about that.
Let's
a little
talk
bit.
about that one. Yes, this was a really a tough bill. I didn't see this coming, but just last summer in one of our interim meetings, we had a courtesy call from a group called Transwest, and they said, "By the way, we're
Always
bringing
watch out for courtesy
calls."
That's not good.
we're bringing this transmission line through the state of Utah. We just thought we ought to know. You ought to know. Legislators went, "You got to be kidding me. What do we get out of it?"
Hold
Well,
on.
you're going to get some construction jobs and some property tax. Really? Well, so what they're trying to do is build maybe the world's largest wind farm in Wyoming. Great. And then take the power and sell it in Southern California and Nevada, Trip. But
I still have a house there.
Yeah,
so
but they were going to run it through the state of Utah, and it's like, see, and it was like this analogy, the best analogy, if I have another second to tell you this. Let's say that someone was going to run a 2-lane road, toll road, through the state of Utah and say, no on-ramps or off-ramps. Sorry, would we allow that? No way. But for some reason, these transmission lines, it's like, oh, it's out there in the hinterland, it's okay. But as we started to study it, no. So we were able to get some legislation that just makes this producer pay attention to 2 big solar farms, a potential nuclear plant in the state of Utah, that they can get access to these lines to put their product on. It's just really gets their attention, kind of a stake in the ground.
Well, I've got so many more questions. We're unfortunately out of town.
sorry. I'll
but
come back.
I would love to have you come back. Stephen, thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Trip and Holly. Thank you so
very
much.
much. And
It's
work
been
on
wonderful.
getting that call in to the big man upstairs to clean
Yeah,
up the air here.
I'll do it.
It's
Okay,
bad.
I'll do it. I'll
Yeah,
make
just
that
lower
call.
the ochres. Make that a
I'll make that a call.
It'll make it. We'll be back with more Talk Utah after this short break.